The world is full of islands. Some are vast green continents unto themselves. Others are tiny forgotten dots in endless oceans. But Santa Cruz del Islote, I had heard, was something else entirely. It was not its size that made it famous, but its sheer improbable concentration of life. I carried this thought with me as my boat neared the San Bernardo archipelago off the coast of Colombia. The idea of an island so small yet so full of people pulled me forward. It was a human story I wanted to understand, a place where space itself was the ultimate luxury, and community the ultimate necessity. The journey had been long, the sun warm on my face, building anticipation for what I might find. I had read the statistics, of course. Facts and figures can paint a picture, but they rarely capture the soul of a place. This island, no bigger than 2 soccer fields, was rumored to house over 1,000 souls, the most densely populated island on Earth. The words themselves seemed to struggle under the weight of such a claim. I wondered what it would feel like to live shoulder to shoulder, day in and day out with so many others. Would it be a place of constant noise, of overwhelming presence? Or would I find a unique harmony, a rhythm born of shared existence in such an extreme environment? These questions filled my mind as the distant shape of the island began to solidify against the horizon. My first glimpse was almost surreal. It did not look like an island in the traditional sense, with beaches and trees. Instead, it appeared as a vibrant cluster of buildings rising directly from the turquoise water, a man-made structure almost floating on the sea. The colors were bright, a patchwork of blues, yellows, and greens, houses pressed so tightly together they seemed to merge into one continuous, living entity. There was no visible land, only rooftops and walls, a testament to human ingenuity and the relentless desire for a place to call home. It was a sight that promised a world entirely different from anything I had experienced before, a place defined by its limits and the life lived within them. The very concept challenged my notions of personal space, of solitude. In my own life, I often seek quiet corners, moments of retreat. Here, it seemed, life was lived in the open, a constant interaction, a shared breath. I imagined the stories held within those tightly packed walls, the generations that had grown up on this tiny patch of coral, their lives intertwined like the narrow pathways I would soon navigate. This was not just a geographical curiosity, it was a human experiment, a living example of adaptation and community. The uniqueness of Santa Cruz del Islote was not just in its density, but in the spirit it must surely foster among its people. To reach Santa Cruz del Islote, one must first journey to the Caribbean coast of Colombia. From the bustling port of Cartagena or the quieter town of Tolu, small boats make the trip, navigating the gentle swells of the sea. The island is part of the San Bernardo archipelago, a collection of 10 islands scattered across a stunning expanse of clear warm water. These other islands are known for their mangroves, their white sandy beaches, and their tranquil resorts. Islote, however, stands apart, a stark contrast to its more spacious neighbors. It is a destination not for its natural landscapes but for its unique human landscape, a marvel of concentrated existence. The boat ride itself is a transition. The mainland, with its roads and cars and sprawling spaces, recedes into the distance. The world becomes simpler, reduced to sun, sea, and sky. Flying fish occasionally break the surface, their silvery bodies arcing through the air. Other small fishing boats pass by, their occupants waving with a friendly familiarity. The archipelago reveals itself slowly, island by island, each with its own character. Some are lush and green, inviting exploration. Others are mere sandbars, temporary homes for seabirds. Then finally Islote appears, not gradually but almost suddenly, a burst of color and structure in the vastness of the blue. Geographically, the island is tiny, a mere hectare, or about 2.4 acres. It is built upon a coral reef, a foundation that dictates its small and unchanging size. There is no room for expansion, no hinterland to cultivate. Everything must exist within these defined, unyielding borders. The surrounding waters are rich with marine life, the traditional source of sustenance and livelihood for the islanders. This proximity to the sea is both a blessing and a constant reminder of their isolation and dependence on its bounty. The island is essentially a platform, a stage for human life, set against the backdrop of the immense Caribbean. The setting is undeniably beautiful. The water is a kaleidoscope of blues and greens so clear that one can often see the coral formations beneath the surface. The sun shines brightly most days, reflecting off the waves and the painted houses. Yet, this beauty is juxtaposed with the incredible density of human habitation. There are no beaches to speak of on Islote itself, No open green spaces. The land is almost entirely covered by homes, pathways, and a small central square. It is a place where the natural environment has been completely reshaped by human need, a truly unique geographical and social phenomenon. The numbers associated with Santa Cruz del Islote are staggering. With a population that hovers around 500 people, though some historical counts have been higher, closer to 1,200, living on an area of roughly 0.012 square kilometers, the population density is truly remarkable. To put this into perspective, it is said to be about 4 times as dense as Manhattan. Imagine the bustling energy of a major city, but concentrated into a space where everyone knows each other, where pathways are narrow, and where private space is an almost alien concept. This is the reality of Islote, a place where human proximity is the defining characteristic of existence. This density is fascinating not just as a statistic but as a lived experience. How do people navigate such close quarters? How are resources managed? How is peace maintained? These were the questions that drew me and many others to this tiny spot on the map. It challenges conventional ideas about urban planning, about personal boundaries, and about the very nature of community. The islanders have, out of necessity, developed intricate social systems and a deep sense of mutual reliance. There is an unspoken understanding, a shared choreography that allows life to flow, even in such a confined environment. The reasons for this density are rooted in history and livelihood. The island was, according to local lore, uninhabited until about 150 years ago. Fishermen from coastal towns discovered its strategic location, free from mosquitoes that plagued the nearby mangrove islands and close to rich fishing grounds. They began to build temporary shelters, then permanent homes. As families grew and more people arrived, seeking the bounty of the sea, the island slowly filled. Each available inch of space was utilized, houses built upwards and outwards, until the island became the tightly packed community it is today. The sea provided, and the island offered a safe, if small, haven. Walking through the island, this density is palpable. Houses are built wall to wall, often sharing structures. The pathways are more like corridors, weaving between buildings. Children play in any available open space, which is usually just a slightly wider section of a path or the small concrete plaza. There is a constant hum of activity, voices, music, the sounds of daily life amplified by the closeness, yet it doesn't feel chaotic, at least not in a negative sense. Instead, there's an energy, a vibrancy that comes from so many lives lived in such intimate connection with one another. It is a testament to human adaptability. As my boat gently nudged the small concrete dock, the island seemed to rise up to meet me. The sounds were the first thing that enveloped me, a chorus of children's laughter, the rhythmic beat of unseen music, snippets of conversations drifting from open doorways, and the ever-present lapping of waves against the island's foundations. It was not overwhelming, but rather a rich tapestry of human presence. Stepping onto the firm, if limited, ground of Santa Cruz del Islote felt like entering a different dimension, a world where every inch was alive and humming with activity. The air was warm, carrying the scent of the sea mixed with cooking food. The welcome was immediate and genuine. Faces peered from windows and doorways, curious and friendly. A group of children, their initial shyness quickly overcome, gathered around, their eyes bright with questions. There was no formal greeting party, just the natural, unscripted welcome of a community accustomed to the occasional curious visitor. It struck me then that on an island this small, every arrival is noted, every new face a brief point of interest. The pathways leading away from the dock were narrow, barely wide enough for 2 people to pass comfortably, twisting and turning like the corridors of an ancient labyrinth. The houses themselves were a kaleidoscope of color. Painted in bright blues, vibrant pinks, sunny yellows, and soothing greens, they pressed against each other, creating a vivid mosaic. Many were simple structures, built of wood or concrete blocks, but each had its own distinct character, adorned with plants in pots, fishing nets draped to dry, or laundry fluttering in the sea breeze. It was clear that these were not just shelters, but homes, cherished and cared for despite the limitations of space. The creativity and resourcefulness of the islanders were evident in every detail, in the way they maximized every available nook and cranny. My initial steps were taken with a sense of wonder and a slight apprehension about navigating such a dense environment. Where did one path lead and how did it connect to another? It seemed that the island itself was a living organism, its pathways like veins, its houses like cells, all interconnected and interdependent. There was a feeling of constant movement, yet also a sense of deep-rooted stability. People moved with an easy grace, accustomed to the close proximity, their interactions fluid and natural. I was an outsider, yet I felt an immediate sense of the island's unique pulse, its tightly knit social fabric. Section 5. The Rhythm of Daily Life. Movement and Stillness. Daily life on Santa Cruz del Islote begins early, with the rising sun and the calls of seabirds. The fishermen are often the first to stir, preparing their boats and nets for a day out on the water. Their livelihoods depend on the bounty of the Caribbean Sea, and the rhythm of their work dictates much of the island's pace. As the sun climbs higher, the island awakens more fully. The narrow pathways become thoroughfares for children heading to the small school, for women tending to household chores, and for men gathering to discuss the day's catch or community matters. Every movement is observed, every greeting exchanged. The island has a small school, a testament to the community's commitment to education, though resources are limited. Children, in their bright uniforms, add a splash of energy to the already vibrant scene. Their laughter and games echo through the tightly packed houses. When school is out, they play wherever they can find space, a small concrete plaza, the edges of the docks, or even in the shallow waters surrounding parts of the island. Their playground is the island itself, and their ingenuity in finding amusement in such a confined space is remarkable to witness. Life here teaches adaptability from a very young age. During the heat of the day, a certain stillness can settle over parts of the island. People might retreat indoors, seeking shade and rest, but the communal spaces are rarely entirely empty. Someone is always mending a net, preparing food, or simply sitting and watching the world go by. There's a strong sense of shared experience. Meals are often simple, based on fresh fish, rice, and plantains, sometimes cooked communally or shared between families. The scarcity of fresh water means that conservation is a way of life, every drop valued and used carefully. As evening approaches, the island takes on a different atmosphere. The fishermen return, hopefully with a good catch. The setting sun paints the sky in brilliant colors, reflecting off the water and the brightly painted houses. Music might drift from a home, or a group might gather for a game of dominoes. Storytelling is a cherished tradition, a way of passing on history and culture in a place where physical monuments are scarce. Life is lived largely in public, or at least in close proximity to others, fostering a deep interconnectedness that is rare in more spacious societies. There is a rhythm to it all, a dance of movement and stillness, of work and rest, of individual lives lived within a collective whole. Section 6. Threads of tradition culture woven into close quarters. The culture of Santa Cruz del Islote is as unique and concentrated as its population. It is a tapestry woven from threads of shared history, necessity, and the vibrant spirit of the Caribbean. Music is a constant companion here, a soundtrack to daily life. From the rhythms of cumbia and vallenato, drifting from radios and sound systems to impromptu singing and drumming, music fills the air, expressing joy, sorrow, and the simple awe of existence. It is a way to celebrate, to mourn, and to connect with one another in spaces where physical separation is minimal. The islanders carry their heritage in their songs and dances, a lively expression of their identity. Storytelling also plays a crucial role in preserving the island's culture. With limited written records of their specific community's origins, oral traditions are vital. Elders share tales of the island's founding, of legendary fishing exploits, and of the challenges and triumphs faced by generations past. These stories are not just entertainment, they are a form of education, instilling a sense of belonging and continuity in the younger islanders. In a place where physical landmarks are few and far between, these narratives become the monuments, shaping the collective memory and reinforcing the bonds that tie the community together. Community celebrations and religious festivals are important events, bringing everyone together in the island's few open spaces. These occasions are marked by feasting, music, and dancing, a vibrant display of collective spirit. Even everyday activities like mending fishing nets or preparing food often become communal affairs, reinforcing social ties and fostering cooperation. The very nature of their environment necessitates a high degree of social cohesion. Disputes are typically resolved within the community, often with the help of respected elders, as formal legal structures are distant and less relevant to the immediate interconnected reality of island life. The strong sense of identity among the islanders is palpable. They are Islanos, a people shaped by their unique environment. This identity is built on resilience, resourcefulness, and a deep understanding of the sea that surrounds them. Despite the lack of space and the daily challenges, there is a fierce pride in their home and their way of life. They have created a functioning, vibrant society in conditions that many would find unimaginable. This shared culture, born of close living and mutual dependence, is perhaps the island's greatest strength, allowing it to thrive against the odds. Section 7. The Weight of Water. Challenges in a Confined Paradise. Life on Santa Cruz del Islote, while vibrant and communal, is not without its significant challenges. Perhaps the most pressing is the scarcity of fresh water. The island has no natural source of fresh water, no rivers, no springs, no wells. For drinking, cooking, and washing, the community relies entirely on deliveries from the mainland by boat, often provided by the Colombian Navy, or on collecting rainwater during the wet season. This precious resource must be carefully managed and conserved, a constant reminder of their dependence on the outside world and the vagaries of weather. Every drop is valued, and its absence can create significant hardship. Waste management is another enormous hurdle for such a densely populated area with virtually no land to spare. With so many people living in such a small space, the accumulation of trash is a serious concern. Historically, much of the waste ended up in the surrounding sea, a practice that is environmentally unsustainable and harmful to the marine ecosystem upon which they depend. Efforts are being made, often with the help of outside organizations, to implement better waste disposal systems, including recycling initiatives and transport of waste to the mainland, but it remains an ongoing and complex problem requiring constant attention and resources. The lack of space itself presents a myriad of daily difficulties. There is no room for agriculture, meaning all food apart from seafood must be brought in. The small school can only accommodate a certain number of students, and older children often have to travel to nearby islands or the mainland for further education. Healthcare is limited to a small, often under-equipped health post. Serious medical issues require a boat trip to a larger town. Even burying the dead is a challenge, as there is no cemetery on Islote. Deceased islanders are typically taken to neighboring islands for burial. Furthermore, the island is vulnerable to the forces of nature. Storms and hurricanes can batter the exposed community, damaging homes and infrastructure. Rising sea levels, a consequence of global climate change, pose an existential threat to this low-lying coral island. The very foundation of their home is at risk. These environmental pressures add another layer of uncertainty to daily life, demanding resilience and foresight from a community already living on the edge. The challenges are many, yet the islanders face them with a pragmatism born of generations of adaptation. Section 8. Strength and Unity, the resilient heart of the islet. Despite the numerous challenges, the community of Santa Cruz del Islote demonstrates remarkable resilience. This strength is not born from abundant resources or advanced technology, but from something far more fundamental, their deep sense of unity and mutual support. In an environment where individual survival is inextricably linked to the well-being of the group, cooperation is not just a virtue, but a necessity. Neighbors help neighbors, families support each other, and the entire island often functions as an extended family. This social cohesion is the bedrock of their ability to endure and even thrive. The islanders have developed ingenious ways to cope with their limitations. For instance, the lack of space has led to innovative architectural solutions, with multi-story homes and shared common areas. They have learned to maximize every square inch, to live vertically as well as horizontally. When resources like fresh water are scarce, they share what they have, ensuring that everyone's basic needs are met as much as possible. This culture of sharing and mutual aid is deeply ingrained, passed down through generations who have understood that their collective survival depends on it. Community organization, though often informal, plays a vital role in addressing collective problems. When a storm damages a home, neighbors pitch in to help rebuild. When a family faces hardship, others offer support. This grassroots solidarity is far more effective than any external intervention could be on its own. They understand their own needs and their own environment better than anyone. Children grow up understanding this interdependence, learning from a young age the importance of contributing to the community and respecting the unwritten rules that allow so many people to live harmoniously in such a small space. This resilience is also evident in their enduring spirit. Despite the hardships, there is a palpable joy and vibrancy on the island. Laughter is common, music is ever-present, and there is a strong sense of pride in their unique home. They have not just survived on this tiny speck of land, they have created a lively, functioning society with a rich culture and a strong identity. The spirit of Santa Cruz del Islote is a testament to human adaptability, to the power of community, and to the ability of people to find happiness and meaning even in the most challenging of circumstances. Their resourcefulness is an inspiration. Section 9. Leaving Íslote. Reflections on a Remarkable Community. As my boat pulled away from Santa Cruz del Islote, the island slowly receded, once again becoming that improbable cluster of colorful houses floating on the Caribbean Sea. The sounds of laughter and music faded, replaced by the gentle rhythm of the waves. I carried with me not just photographs and notes, but a profound sense of having witnessed something truly extraordinary. This was more than just the world's most crowded island. It was a living lesson in human resilience, adaptation, and the enduring power of community. The density that at first seemed daunting now appeared as a catalyst for connection. The island challenges so many assumptions about what humans need to thrive. In a world that often equates space with freedom and possessions with happiness, Íslote offers a different perspective. Here, freedom is found in the intricate dance of close relationships, and richness is measured in the strength of communal bonds rather than material wealth. The islanders have built a world on a sliver of coral, a testament to their ingenuity and their unwavering determination to make a home, to create a life filled with meaning despite the obvious limitations. It made me reflect on my own life, my own needs, and the spaces I inhabit. What I will remember most is the spirit of the Islenos. Their warmth, their resourcefulness, and their ability to find joy in simple things were deeply moving. They faced significant challenges: the scarcity of fresh water, the problem of waste, the vulnerability to nature, yet they do so with a pragmatism and a collective will that is inspiring. They are not victims of their circumstances, they are active agents, constantly negotiating, adapting, and finding ways to make life work. Their story is one of survival, certainly, but it is also one of vibrant living, of culture, and of deep human connection. Santa Cruz del Islote is special not just for its astonishing population density, but for the profound lessons it offers about what it means to be human, to live together, and to create community in the face of adversity. It is a reminder that our greatest resource is often each other. As the island disappeared from view, I knew that this tiny, crowded place, a mere speck in the vastness of the sea, would occupy a large space in my memory. It stands as a vivid example of how people can, against all odds, forge a unique and resilient society, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit.